For this 8th grade lesson, I used the A&D statements, the agree-disagree statement strategy, based on earth structure. I also used another strategy with them, as a new one called the Harkness Strategy, and what it does is it monitors group interaction. I'm going to give each group one of these sheets. The group is going to have a facilitator. Now, the facilitator has to participate in the conversation, but the facilitator has the extra job of tracking everybody else. So what you're going to do when you get this piece of paper, the facilitator is going to write names in the circles for each person. Okay? When the conversation gets started, the facilitator is going to start wherever that person's circle is. It's going to start there. The next person that says something in response to the conversation or participates in the conversation, draw a line to wherever that person is, no matter where it is. All right? Then the next person that contributes to the conversation, draw a line to that person. And then the next person, even if it goes back to the first person or the line goes back. Okay? You're going to draw lines to kind of connect the interaction of the conversation. Okay? Does everybody kind of understand that? When I say contribute to the activity, to the conversation, do I mean, when's lunchtime?
No.
Do I? Do I mean,
So that means Hannah would not get a line.
yeah, Hannah would not get a line on that one. Does it mean, oh, I like your shoes today?
Yes.
No, it has to be on topic, whatever your topic is. Okay? It has to be on topic, Brandon. Shh. The A&D statements were really beneficial to use. In one, you have 3 columns. The first column, you give your statement, and then they either have to check agree, disagree, not sure, or it depends on. And then under that, they have to justify their thoughts. So as a group, I had them decide which one that they would check as far as the statement, if they agreed, disagreed, or what. And then they had to justify their reasoning upon that. The second column is where would they find the answer to that statement to do the research. And of course, they used resources like their notes, the internet. They put me down, just various types of research sites. And then the third column, they actually have to write down what they found out after doing the research. And that's what this strategy was about. We're going to do an activity called A&D statements. This group is going to get this paper. The paper has 3 columns. All right, the first column is the statement. And under the statement, you have lines where you need to check. You need to check if you agree, if you disagree, if your answer might be it depends on, or if you're not sure. And then under that, you have to justify your thinking. Okay? You have to justify your thinking. Why do you agree? Why do you disagree? All right, this is going to be group work, okay? So you're going to be discussing what everybody in the group agrees or disagrees, right? Okay. And on the justify my thinking, you could also add, 3 of the group members demand that it is a agree, and the other 2 demand that it is a disagree. The ones that agree say this, justify it this way. The ones that disagree, justify it this way. So I want some justification. All right, the next column says, how can I find out? How can I find out if this statement is right or wrong? Okay, so think about resources you might have to prove either it is agree, either it is disagree, or if you're not sure or it depends on, prove what that answer would be. Okay, and then you're going to the third column, the very last column you're going to do is what did I find out? So what do you think you're going to do for what did I find out?
Things you learned new.
How are you going to go from this column to this column? Can you use what you write down in here to find out?
Yeah.
So, whatever you say right here, you're going to actually follow through, and you're going to use that resource and determine what the response to that statement would be, and you will write it in your what did I find out. So here you would write down, is this statement correct? Is it incorrect? What makes it correct? What makes it incorrect? Okay, you're going to, what did I find out? Put it right there, okay? Do not go back and change what you originally wrote in the first column. Okay? Do not go back and change that first column. Once you have written that down, you have committed to your answers, then you're going to move to the middle column. Once you've done the middle column, then you're going to move to the third column and find out what the answer is, okay? All right, so when you get ready to do that third column, to actually use what you put in the second column, let me know and let me look over it to make sure you're ready to go to that third one. Yes, ma'am?
Are we doing like these by ourselves, or we like
As a group. As a group. All right, are my facilitators ready to get started? All right, begin. The Harkness was very beneficial because it tracked my group interaction, how the conversation, productive dialogue within the group. And so at first they were worried about tracking that, making sure everybody was getting credit for their conversation.
I agreed with that.
Me too. I put agree because it is less dense.
Yay!
And then it
Wait,
goes
which
to
one?
hand-
Yeah, I'm about to tell y'all not writing anything for me.
Put Cole. Put air from Hannah to Cole.
Dude.
And then to Brittany. No, it's not. It's wham, 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 wham.
Okay.
Wham, wham, wham.
Wait, okay, y'all gotta let me write too.
number 2? What did you put
For number 2, I put agree.
We just did number 2.
Dude, I said not
Yes,
sure.
we did.
We're talking about the core. You were talking about continental.
Oh, wait.
Okay,
Oh,
I said
yeah.
not sure because I don't remember anything about
I
magnetic
put
fields.
agree because the core moves at a different speed.
We can find that in our notes.
Yeah, I put the core goes at a different speed. Okay, so that was
Or the PowerPoint we made. Remember when we made that PowerPoint?
Oh, yeah.
Well, throughout this process, I tend to like to do more than one strategy just because I do. And I had found out about this strategy from Miss Teague, and I thought, oh, this will be a good one to use just to see how they're interacting with each other and how their productive dialogue is progressing. And so I decided to put that one with it. And since then, I did another lesson that had the A and D statements and the Harkness model, and they did much better because they were familiar with both of them. By doing the agree or disagree, first of all, the statements, you could put any type of statement down based on that concept. It doesn't have to be a true statement. It could be true, false. It can be a tricky statement. Anything that you want to put down as far as that concept. And so they have to talk about that statement, and then they have to debate. Do they think that statement's correct or not? And so that gave me an opportunity to view them debating on who felt comfortable with making, the agree or disagree, and who was still unsure about it, and what statements they might have all been unsure about. And it did lead, some of them, half the group would agree, half of the group would disagree. So we decided that if that happened in the justification, they could say that they were not sure because half of them had one answer and half of them had the other. But it did give me a real quick formative assessment on what they remembered, what they understood, and how deep their understanding was of the concept.
Put agree because because I remember when we learned it's like the top thing of the magma.
Oh, yeah, because it moves and one goes under, one comes over. Yeah.
Number 2.
like collide and one goes
But it says convection
under and
currents.
one goes over.
The lithosphere is the one up under the crust, right?
Yeah, it moves them, but it doesn't necessarily go under.
Yeah. Because when they collide, they do like that right there. Wait.
What, they're not colliding?
They go like that right there.
Well, if they're not colliding though.
They do
They
collide.
do collide, but
That's
convection
At
currents.
convection currents.
That's what convection currents
Convection
are.
currents cause the lithosphere to move.
I mean, I understand where you're coming from, but at the same time,
The first two columns ready?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so now what are you going to do now?
You got what do we find out?
All right, how are you going to,
Research.
Google it.
Do y'all?
you have to use what you put in here, don't you?
Your notes.
All right, so get out whatever resource that you said and use that, and then put down what you found out.
Materials found on Earth that are building blocks of rocks. Each has a certain chemical makeup and set of properties that determine their use and value. So guess what? Fossil fuels are not. I don't know. That's minerals. Yeah, that's minerals. Yeah, that's it. Right?
What did it say again?
I got it. Fossil. Okay.
Remains of living.
I don't think
It's not mineral.
They're not minerals.
Yeah, that's what I just put it.
That's why I put it depends. So what we found
I said
out.
not sure.
I didn't put.
What we found out was wrong.
So fossil fuels are not minerals.
But she said don't erase anything in the first box.
No, right.
But I thought we had learned that. Cause that's what I put. Cause that's where I've heard that somewhere before.
Next.
Yeah.
No, I've heard they are though. I thought I had. So what are we writing?
Fossil fuels are not minerals.
Are you sure it's not?
I'm sure.
I don't know.
Because it says natural. Fossil fuels are natural. Solid material, open gas. Yeah, alright. Read that.
They're not minerals. P is first, S is second, and
I thought you
surface
just
is
said
third.
primary
and
waves can
dry
only
void
travel
is
through
most
liquid.
Yeah, primary waves can only travel through liquid, so they wouldn't be able to make it up. Whoa.
What are you doing here?
Aren't secondary waves?
Yeah,
Look,
I'm
P
not
waves.
listening.
What you saying?
Seismic waves, color key.
I know, but primary waves was first in
Oh,
the
sorry
round.
guys, I was reading S waves. Chill out.
God.
Alright, guys. We already have this, but
This is whenever divergent plates move away from each other and creating a crust.
Why do you think I had you do this?
About the connections of the Earth structure.
All right, so record what's going on in your groups.
And also make us work together.
Work together. And it can show me, if I look at that sheet, I can see what you originally thought, can I? Yeah, and then I can see if you knew the answer or not. And then I also can look at the third column and see, did you find out what the answer was? So by finding out the answer, even though you might not have known it for the first column, have you learned something? Yes. You've learned the answer. And did I tell you what the answer was? No, I did not. All right, now what I want you to do is look at your interaction graph. And as a group, I want you to discuss how the interaction graph went. Did everybody get equally interacted? Were there some that dominated more? Were there some that did not participate as much? And I want you to write your group reflection on the back of the paper. Write your reflection on the back of the paper. The group tracking sheet, the Harkness model. At the end of the class, I had each group look at it, and I walked around and looked at it, and we reflected on it. I had them reflect and see how many lines each person had. And then we talked about, were there one or two that dominated the conversation? Was anybody not included in the conversation or chose not to participate? And then they had to reflect on what they would do differently for the next time we did a group activity to improve their interactions. I have learned through this process that using these strategies deepens our students' understanding of the concepts. There's so many different ones, from ones as simple as give me 5 that you can go through very quickly with, to the ones that are a little bit more complex, like the A and D statements, or the odd one out, some of those concept maps. But it is a way to see how well they understand the concepts as you go through them. And it helps them make relationships between concepts, and it helps them to think on a deeper level.